What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another week with the Surge Cast. I'm Kat,
I'm Zach.
and we're down to just two hosts again. But we're really glad to hear how much you guys liked having the three of us back last week for the Colorado game and that little during the game Surge Cast updates. Those
Yeah,
were
that was
really
a lot of
it was
those
a
were
lot of
fun.
fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun just doing that between the intermission and stuff like that. It seems like a lot of people were really digging the rink reporter stuff too. And yeah, even doing the live show in person at your place was fun. It's just, it's always good when the three of us get together and kind of just do a show in person. So wish we could do that more often, but what can you do?
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun though, and I'm glad everyone enjoyed last week's multiple shows and intermission and stuff. So
Yeah.
bring a little extra. So why
Love to
not?
hear feedback from you guys. Um, but yeah, it's weird. We're having a 2 day off between games. It's kind of throwing everyone off a little bit right now.
Yeah, and the fact that the 4 game homestand lasts over a span of like 10 days because it's like we have Ottawa Friday, then it's Columbus and the Islanders next week, but it's so stretched out. You're kind of like, huh. A lot of home games, but they're not close together. Which, I mean, I'm not complaining. It's nice not
We
having
all
every
need the
other
extra
night.
time for the holidays right now.
A little, yeah. Well, especially like the last, like that whole week for Christmas, we have like what 2 back-to-backs, and then it's Columbus on the 31st. So yeah,
Mhm.
even then, even before the 2 sets of back-to-backs, you got what Capitals the Friday before, so 3 games in 4 days.
Mhm.
Oh boy, yeah. It's, the back half of this month is going to be a lot of hockey. So I'm not complaining about the breaks right now.
Yeah, same. So of course we spoke about was the Colorado Avalanche game.
Mm.
Since then we've played the Islanders and the Sharks. So
Yeah.
let's get right into it. Give me some likes and dislikes from that Islanders game, Zach.
Uh, well, likes. I mean, Andrei Svechnikov got 2 more goals, both on the power play. So 3 goals in 2 games. Can't be upset about that. You love to see that from him. Martin Necas doing his thing, still collecting his points. Other than that, dislikes. Too many odd man rushes for the other team. What we've seen ever since Utah, I know we've talked about it, is the not being focused 100% of the time, not giving a full 60. You're kind of see them starting quick and then fading off in the second, then kicking it back in the third, or they just take forever to get going. So it's like we're playing like a Jekyll and Hyde type hockey. And yeah, I would definitely say the once again giving up too many goals in one period and you're kind of limiting yourself did not really help out the Hurricanes, especially at the time where the Islanders going into the game was dead last in the Metro. So yeah, I would definitely say the starting hot and then just absolutely fading off in the second period, and then just took too long to get back into it. So once again, the second period Canes of they're there, but not really has creeped up once again that we've seen over the last couple seasons.
It
What about
felt
you, Kat? What are your like likes and dislikes from that Islanders game?
Yeah. So, well, a big like and a like that all Canes fans should be really excited about is the power play is hot for us right now. Even when they don't have all the like chances, like I will say this, they have a lot of chances,
Mm-hmm.
and right now it's paying off more times than not. It's not the same stagnant, no shooting, being crazy power play, and both sets of power, the unit 1, unit 2, both have been contributing. So
Mm-hmm.
I will say I don't have the same complaints about the power play that we've had for it feels like years past.
It's top 5 and it's staying consistently top 5. So I mean, you really can't be upset with that. And it's not like
Yeah.
20th and then it's finally figured it out. Now it's like 6. It's
Yeah.
nope, staying like last year they were top 5 all season. It's just once again back-to-back seasons you're staying consistent. It also helps too. Shane Goss's spare has I think was it 19 power play points. And 17, and Marty Necas is 19. So it helps when you have 2 guys leading the league in power play points. So
Yeah. So I would say that's a big like for me.
mm-hmm.
The dislike, I feel it is a little bit of that like fading off.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of, well, one, it's the Islanders. All right. You it's a game coming off of a big Colorado win where you're like, all right, we're back in track after that ugly weekend, whatever, forget about it. We're back on track for Colorado and we're going to get back into that winning mindset.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, we're facing the Islanders, a team that's kind of struggling in the Metro, and it shouldn't be a big problem for us. Like, we typically do really well against the Islanders. And it just was felt so ticky-tacky that, like, yeah, we could go up, we'd have really good play, but then they'd get right back, like you said, like odd man rushes. And it's a little concerning in that game where we only scored on the power play until the very end on your 5-on-5. So like the 5-on-5 play was a struggle for us during that game.
Oh, that was a 6-on-5. That's when we had the extra attacker with KK's goal. So we had
technically no 5-on-5 goals.
Technically no 5-on-5. It was a lot of extra man and empty nets. So but he was the only healthy guy on the ice. So I see where you're coming. Yeah. It's definitely concerning when the 5-on-5 play, it's kind of just meh. And even Rod's like, we got to pick it up. Like,
well, it's just like Canes hockey recently. When the 5-on-5 isn't clicking. Like, that's weird. It's honestly weird if your power play is working and your 5-on-5 is. It's like, what team is this?
It's very uncharacteristic, and that's the crazy thing where it's like it's one or the other. It's not the same at the same. Like, even though it was earlier in the season when you saw it with the 5-on-1 road trip out in Western Canada, both were doing fine. Now it's like one or the other. If one's going and the other isn't, it's like it's not consistent anymore like it used to be. This is my wild.
This is my point of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Is we just don't seem to be clicking together on the ice, which is weird. Like, there have been times where we've like changed up the lines and like maybe it's a little weird and we go back.
Right.
And even Rod said, okay, the answer is not the changing and blending of the lines. Like, that's not the answer.
Yeah,
but
it's not working.
Even though he's said that, I have yet to see us go back to the lines that won eight games straight. And that's interesting to me, because you're also, some people might say, well, Jarvis came back in the line. Jarvis was there for the winning streak. He was only gone for a little bit of it. And like, that still shouldn't be a problem to put him back in. If you're not putting Carey on the line with the Jordans, then put Jarvis there and put the lines back.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, that was after the Western Canadian trip, because I know because it was the 3-game road trip with Colorado, Vegas, and Utah. So even then, when you're on the 8-game winning streak, Jarvis was there the whole time. It's just that weird thing of how the lines were set up. Like, there was nothing different.
I feel like the lines, there's some things that are like, oh yeah, this makes sense, and like I was a big advocate for putting Jarvis with Aho, and I still am. I will say for the recently, like, we've had him with Natchez, Jarvis, and Aho.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Bad. You don't have size on that line. That's the only thing, is that line is maybe going to get a little bit bullied. I mean, Jarvis puts his whole
Jarvis
into anything.
Yeah, Jarvis has no issue.
But that line's going to get a little bullied because they know it's a team that's a line of finesse.
It's a lot of skill line. Yeah, it's not a line where you would have like a Svechnikov power forward type guy or so. I definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah, it's a line you don't really see very much of. While it might click a game or two, will it stay consistent? I don't know. I think the thing that really makes it interesting is the fact that KK is still on that fourth line 9 games after that, where he gave up like 2 goals on turnovers. I know it's not a demotion, as I keep saying it is, but you're talking 9 games now where he's slapped onto that fourth line. And you're looking for a respark. Put him back on the second line with Robinson and Natchez. We all know how great that line was together.
Which you might see now, which unfortunately you might see now, there is an injury with the Sharks. Jack Drury, doing his best defensive efforts, did get a shot to the hand.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately he is out. And Rod is saying it seems like it's going to be a while.
Yeah,
I don't really trust Rod's timelines. Rod's timelines never really seem to be what I think they're going to be.
We're not gonna know until practice on Thursday. I guess whenever everyone listens to this on Thursday, like, we don't know what the timeline is. We know Tyson Jost got called up, but
I'm a big proponent of putting KK back on that line. Put that line back together.
Yeah,
and I will say, I think Jarvis and Aho and Svech, I think it could work if Svech was playing his true power forward. If he would be that grit on the line, I have seen him lose, like not seal the board so many times. And like he played recently, it's gotten better. But recently, like I remember times last year where I'd see Nate just go in and he seemed a little timid at the butt and he wouldn't seal the boards and all that. Nate's just doing it consistently. He's making sure he's winning that. Like he's keeping the puck in the zone. The amount of times I've seen the puck get by Svech or Svech not like really put his whole body there to keep like the play going. I think if he would play that part, then he would be great with Aho and Jarvis on that first line. And I think that's why in times when Broad does blend it and he's put Carrier up there, he's put Martinook up there, he's looking for someone to be that big body presence, like doing what the Jordan line does of keeping that puck in there, sealing the boards, making sure it's really hard for it to get out. And I think Svech could do that, but this season he seemed to struggle a little bit with it. And I think he could really fit on that first line with Jarvis and Aho. Then you get your second line back with Robinson, Natchez, and KK. Give me the Jordans and Carrier, and then of course your fourth line of Jost,
Roslovic, and Blake.
Yeah. And that's another thing. They're like, oh, well, you're missing a center now. I think Roslovic's played center before, correct? On the app, he's listed as a center.
He has played center with the Jackets and the Jets a little bit. And the thing is, Jost does too. But
that would be my fourth line then, to have them together.
Yeah, the thing is, I would probably we've only seen Roslovic play center only because they had to jumble the lines up against the Sharks. So yeah, they had to throw him there every so often. But he's not really had a lot of time at center for the Canes. I do see them. I think they like Roslovic on the wing because of his speed, and I think they're going to throw Jost as the fourth line center, just because that's where he's played his spot. So I could definitely see Jost manning that fourth line, and it's KK back on the second. Because like you could put Roslovic there too, because Jost has played center and wing for the Wolves. But if they like Roslovic more on the wing for his speed wise, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jost kind of manning that middle section. I would even say if you want to add a body up there that you think could probably be that physical body presence that could do something, Jackson Blake does a pretty good job of throwing his body around too. We saw it for a little bit with Jarvis, Blake, and Aho. I wouldn't be surprised I would be okay with them. Be like, hey, let's see what the youngster can do with those two and see what happens. Wouldn't be upset if we have Blake on the first line, just trying to give him a shot and see if he could be that extra body, because he fits this system perfectly with Rod once, and he's not afraid to throw some hits around and put his body on the board. So if there's one person I would try different, if it's not Svech, Blake's not a bad option either, just to give him a shot.
Yeah, so to sum it up, I would guess yes. My like is the power play. The special teams have been playing really well. My dislike is we're in a slump. There's something a little bit off with the chemistry. There just seems to be a little bit of hesitation on the ice, guys not knowing where they're going. And we'll talk about it here a little bit with the Sharks as well. So I'm happy we won against the Sharks on my birthday. I was a little bit scared that we were going to lose birthday, by the way. Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday on the podcast, because we weren't able to do it on your actual birthday. But yes, I got you a birthday one. So that's good at least.
Yes. For a minute, I thought my one consolation prize was when I was on intermission, a little girl, a little hurricane stopped by and said, happy birthday, in like the cutest little voice. And I was like, well, if I take anything from this, if the Canes don't win, I at least have that.
And at least you're on the Jumbotron too for your name. It wasn't just it was like not even your nickname, your whole name, which was even better too.
Thanks, Dad. So with the Sharks,
but yeah, at least I got the win for your birthday. That's all that matters.
So with the Sharks, it kind of continues with that weird the on and off thing that you were talking about, and a little bit of the confusion that I was talking about. So with the Sharks, the first 10 minutes, I would say until maybe the Sharks scored. First Canes goal, it was that like, all right, here's our high pressure. We're playing our game. Like we are nonstop. We're eventually going to get a goal. Like we're playing so well. So so we get a goal and you're sounding good. So then come back and the Sharks get a goal. I will say this too, because we have to talk about it. Celebrini, seeing him play in person, he is as young as he is, as small as he still is, he skates so smoothly. He went through some of our guys like a knife through butter. Like it was so pretty.
Rod even said it too after the game. Yeah, like that first overall pick. Yeah, he played the first overall pick. He was, for being 18, and the fact some of the stretch passes he was throwing on, especially for the Luke Kunin goal for the first one for the Sharks. Wow. Yeah, this kid's legit. I'm not surprised why he was so touted coming out of BU. Yeah, he's going to be a problem when he's in his prime, but yeah, it's just gotta give credit where it's due, man. That kid is a fluid skater. So
yeah,
but
so
that first goal though for the Sharks. Oh, I would say out of the goals in that one, that's the one where you kind of won back for Piotr, because that was 5-hole. Should have been an easy stop, but hey, what can you do? Stuff like that. Yeah. It happens. It happens, man.
And the second period was kind of unforgettable. Like it was just forgettable. Like it was just
it's a Carolina Hurricanes. Rod Brind'Amour is beyond not happy with you, and it was one of the second period lackadaisical type things where it's you outshot them, but you're kind of like, okay, where's the chances?
That pressure and the chances that were there to start the game weren't there anymore. They weren't doing that. Honestly, the Sharks started running us over a little bit because it was like, do you want to win this? Because we do. And so it was a little, that part was a little bit like, okay, guys, what are we doing? And then for that Sharks goal was like, this is the confusion I'm talking about, is you have Carrier, instead of going back behind the goal for like a big clear out, he goes forward to Ghost, who's under pressure. So then Ghost gets it, and instead of a big clear, he just dumps it a little bit behind the goal where another Sharks player was waiting. And it was just like, we gave it away with some really kind of sloppy passes and no urgency to get it out of the zone. I will say I see why the stats on the Ghost and Walker combination aren't great.
For the analytic cards.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing though. So we've said it before. Walker is honestly the new guy. He's the new guy on the blue line. Like everyone else has been there, done that. But what we're seeing, and I will say again, this has been a fantastic duo to get, especially for the money. I do have to say, this is another reason though, you have to really look at how good Pesce and Shea played together, because these guys are learning it. But Pesce and Shea played so well off of each other because Shea could go and be the offensive drive that we needed at times, and Pesce stayed home and made sure everything was good on the back end. I see Walker and Ghost getting beat at times because Ghost is doing his offensive, which is great. We've seen the stats for Ghost. He is offensive blue man that we need. Like, that's great. But when they get burned, I don't know if Walker has quite got that of like the stay-at-home defenseman to cover him. Like, I don't know if he's not a bad player by any means, but I'm saying like
you're still learning the system. It's
and also
really
like
early.
You need someone like this is where Pesce and where Slavin has always really shown on our team, because they're underrated. You're like, all right, we're not going to get a lot of goals from them, but it's allowing their partner a lot of freedom while keeping our defensive end pretty dang secure. So when you look at the stats for Walker and Ghost and you're saying, okay, well, yeah, they're on the ice a lot. That's probably why their stats are this way, but it's also, that's a new pairing. And what's new is like, it's not the new guy isn't the offensive guy, because if you look at that with Burns and Slavin, like it's easy for the offensive guy to kind of, all right, let's go. It's harder for someone to know, okay, I'm the stay-at-home defenseman. You look at Chatty. For a while, Chatty was like, I didn't know what exactly they wanted from me. And now he's like, I know I have that freedom to shoot it, but also he knows his responsibility is when Orlov pinches, Chatty's like, I've got you covered. I've got you covered, and I'll skate. Like, I know my job is to get back there and cover you as fast as possible. So Chatty took a little bit to learn it. I think Walker will take a little bit to learn it. And I think you can fit that really well. But if you're ever looking at those analytics, like if you watch them, you can kind of see that's where like, that's a new group. That's a new pairing that you see more of those cracks in defensive pairings, or like where they're growing in defensive pairings compared to the forward lines, because forward lines, you typically, if you have a new guy up there, at least you have 2 guys covering them and then the blue. So like when they make those mistakes, it's not as obvious, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's still just learning the system and just, I mean, Brent said it took them almost the entire year, and even for Orlov, like it took them almost the entire season to get used to it. And I mean, and that's the same thing for Walker. He's just figuring out. I mean, we got him for 5 years at a good deal. He's still good in the aspects of what we need him. It's just
you're
learning a very tough system, and plus you have Tim Gleason there. You know he's going to do his job to do that. So, but yeah, that second goal though, I mean, just last goal, just being very lax on the defense, just didn't really keep on Kunin very well. I mean, you really can't put that on Piotr because they thought he was going to go around the backside, and unfortunately got right to him, and he was just able to tuck it in, caught him leaning. What can you do? But hey, at least that was the only goals of the game for the Sharks. So, I mean,
I will say this is what, when we played the Kraken, I would say this is kind of what the game for the Kraken could have done if there wasn't any weird refereeing. The Canes decided to pick it up in the third. A beautiful goal by Burns, which of course it was Burns against his old team.
Great tic-tac-toe pass. I mean, Martin Nisch's first 43rd point got to Aho, and the absolute no-looker slap pass. Like, you thought he was going to go for the 1T, and he's like, nope, I'm going to slap pass it right to Burns, who was wide open back door. Just absolutely great pass, and then great hockey IQ from Fish. Just being able to find them.
Beautiful Canes hockey at that point. Like, it was like, all right, we're back. They get that, and then they just start peppering the goal nonstop. And then you get that beautiful unassisted goal by Chatty. And that's kind of like Canes fans are like, why did you make us sit on the edge of our seat? Like, you could have played this whole time and you probably would have won this more handedly.
You could. This is a game where you should have. I mean, like I've said it a lot. Like, this isn't the NHL of you're going into like, oh, you're facing Anaheim, San Jose, Arizona. You name we're talking like 90s hockey where it's like, automatic 2 points because this team stinks. Yeah. This league is so good of where you have star players on every team. You have to bring it every single night. And while everyone can beat anyone, this is kind of a game, though, if you're the Hurricanes, you should have put this one away early and gotten the building more excited into it. For the fact it took that long to get the building into the game, that's kind of tough because we've seen it ever since the Kraken game. It's been eerie in that building for sure. So it's like,
it's a weird time of year.
Yeah, you're kind of
time of year, but when the chemistry is off with the team, I'm going to say this: the team feeds off the crowd. The crowd also feeds off the team.
Yeah, and like that's very true. Yeah,
people can sense it's a little weird on the ice. Like we're winning. Listen, we've won out of our last 3 games. We won 2 out of 3. There's any real hardcore Canes fan will see that this team is actually in a slump, though. Like, it's not how it was earlier this season.
Oh yeah, no, if you're watching every game. Yeah, you can definitely tell that something's off because, like I said, and I've been saying it on socials. It's like I said, you see it like hot starts and then it fades and you kick it back into gear, or it's like you don't start at all and then you take too long to get back into it. Yeah, it's just this weird. Ever since Utah, it's been a weird disconnect of which team you're going to get on a certain night. And I mean, we saw this last year too. Like going into November and early December, this team was slumping pretty good too, going into Western Canada, where you had the players only meeting.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have to have another one of these, but if you have to struggle now. Yeah. That's all I can really say to that. But I would say like my likes for this game was, hey, they didn't quit. They got back into it. The defense led the offense. Great, like you said, great goals from Burnsy. Chatfield was able to grab the puck out of midair like a shortstop, brought it down, took the time, shot it. We went to Chatmandu. Hey, you got the points, you got the win. Pyotr Kochetkov, though, outside of those 2 goals, 20 of 22. That's all you can ask for out of them. And you love to see it. 18th win on the season, 11th at home. Still in a good spot. And I mean, and I wrote this the other day where I'm like, it's not time to hit the panic button. This team is a lot farther than what people thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
People thought they're going to be wild card or missing the playoffs.
I don't think it's time to panic. No, I don't think it's time to panic, especially if you look at a lot of teams around us that are supposed to be also very good and that they're self-destructing. Honestly, it comes in waves for everyone. There's not really anyone that can go 82 games super hot. Like, it just doesn't work because of tiredness, injuries. there's waves. Like it just comes in waves. So we typically have it at the end of the year, either November, December. So yeah, like you said, do it now rather than later. And listen, I'll take our slump too. There's other ones that are worse. I'll take this slump of a little bit on and off.
I mean, at least we're not trading away our captain after threatening to waive him, or we're the Nashville Predators and we are dead last in the league with a lot of heavy contracts. So we could be in a lot worse spot. Not upset where we're at right now, even with us being 4-5-1 in the last 10. 18 wins on the year, third in the division, still within striking distance of second or first. Not upset. Could be in worse spots. So I think it's okay. It's fine. Just
everything's okay. It's still a good day to be
breathe.
Well, so on another little change of pace, of course, they did have the announcement of the rosters for the Four Nations face-off.
We haven't had a chance to talk about that yet.
Yeah, Canada, Finland, Sweden, and the USA. We do have some Canes on here. That's a great honor. I will say the one unfortunate thing is this is taking the place of the All-Star, and Mr. Marty Necas would have been in the All-Star talks. So he's 100%. Actually going to be missing it on the 1 year that he would probably be nominated for it at this moment.
I don't think he's going to be upset though with the vacation he's about ready to take, because I'm
gonna be honest. I'm more upset. I wish his country was in this more than that was the All-Star, because honestly, the All-Star last year was not that great. But let's go ahead and talk about it. For Canada, super fun, because I feel like this came kind of a little more last minute. Not people weren't sure if he was going to get named to this, but Seth Jarvis got on Team Canada. And while some people in hockey media are like, why him? And then he goes on in his couple games back to immediately score every game. It's kind of like, this is why. And even as weird as it is, the rat himself, Marchand, was giving high praises to Jarvis.
Yeah, he said he's excited to play with him. He's heard a lot of great things about him. And I'll look at that, someone who's actually paying attention to what's going on in Carolina. You can talk about Marchand on the ice for one reason, but off the ice, he's done a lot of good stuff. So, I mean, for the fact that he's praising our guy. And the good thing, in the funny part too, is the fact that Jarvis is one of the last cuts off the 21 World Juniors team. None of those 25 guys made Team Canada. Seth Jarvis did. He's been named one of the 23 best Canadian players in the NHL right now. And
he's in really good company. I mean, he's on a team with Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby. That's he's geeking out a little bit. These are guys he plays against, but now he gets to be on a team with them,
that's
in a locker room with them.
Yeah, one of the 23 best Canadians in the NHL. Yeah, and people are like, why him? If you watch Hurricanes hockey enough, why Seth Jarvis should be there, because electric is very understatement of who he is as a player. So it's good that he made it, because that was kind of the question mark if he was going to make it or not. And the fact that during the intermission of the Avalanche game, mid-cut, talking about how he talked to his mom on the phone, and they were just the excitement of being able to represent Team Canada, even for Four Nations, that still means something compared, for the fact that he missed the World Juniors 3 years prior.
And of course, with Team USA, no Hurricanes fans should have been surprised by this, even though there were mock rosters going around with him left off for some reason.
Underrated and disrespected as always.
But Mr. Jake Slavin, of course, made Team USA.
Why would you not? And the funny part is too, they're all projecting him second line defense with Adam Fox. So they're projecting him not even to make the roster. Now all these rosters are projecting him second line D pair. Okay, I don't know why you would ever think about leaving him off the roster. It makes no sense.
Yeah, Team USA is quite interesting. You've got Gensel, Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews, the Tkachuk brothers. Trocheck will be in there.
Goaltending is be very interesting too, because you probably got Otter and
Hellebuck, Otter, and Swayman. I mean, I would take them over the Canada ones in Bennington Hill and Montabu.
Montembeau, yeah. Team Canada the goaltending is gonna be very interesting for those guys, but USA, I think goaltending wise are kind of locked in.
Yeah. So looking into, of course, with Finland, everyone's favorite Sebastian Aho. Of course,
yeah, that was announced like months ago, so we were
no one was surprised by that.
He
Honestly,
was one of the first six
look
guys
up his name on the NHL, his name is first on the list.
Yeah, like he was announced. Like he was one of the first 6 guys announced before the season even kicked off. Like he was automatically locked before we even had all the rosters.
And it'll be super fun because guess what? Who was also on there? Former Carolina Hurricane Teuvo Teravainen. Big honor for him as well.
Of course.
So loving to see that. Unfortunately, they are on a team with Hala, so all the luck to them.
I mean, hey, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, but hey, former Carolina Hurricane Elias Lindholm made Team Sweden, so there's something at least. At least there's some Carolina connection with a former Hurricane on Sweden. So
yeah,
I know Jules is probably happy about that one.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Sweden. I was like, Sweden doesn't. We don't really have.
Not yet. Felix Ungerstorm's not quite there yet, but just give it a couple seasons, we might see him, make one of those things. But
yeah, so it'll be
former Canes though. We do have a former Cane, so
yeah, so it'll be super exciting. I believe it'll be on February 12th
through the 20th.
4 games will be played in Montreal, 3 including the championship game at TD Garden in Boston. Yeah, it's gonna be.
I think it's like TNT, and I figure out where else is gonna be on too. There's gonna be a lot of ways to watch the games.
I was funny. I was watching real quick. I'm trying to think of who it was exactly. It was on TikTok. It was the what are they called? I listen to their podcast all the time. Something Netters. Shoot.
Oh, Empty Netters.
Empty Netters.
Yeah.
It was so funny. They were absolutely roasting the United States lineup. Because if you also look at the lineup, you look at the lineup, there are 2 really young names that they have left off that a lot of people are very surprised got left off. Do you have any guesses?
Couldn't tell you.
Tage Thompson.
Okay.
For his season now, his season currently, he's doing. I mean,
yeah, he's doing good. I mean,
and what's the guy on the Canadians? I can see his name. Yep, he was also left off.
Well, as someone who has Cole Caulfield on a couple of his fantasy teams, he's doing okay, not the greatest. And Tage is kind of, he was injured, came back. He's having an okay season.
Yeah, but 2 young guys that are doing decently, but to have guys such as let's see.
Who are they ripping though?
That they included Brock Nelson and Vincent Trocheck.
Troy, I understand making it Brock Nelson.
Maybe Kreider. I think Kreider as well.
Yeah. If we're talking about seasons,
well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. They were like, listen, they were like, why would you not give put these young guys on here with the seasons they're having, and you're getting these guys who their teams are playing terrible, and it's like, well, are you getting them like for penalty killing? Because like, how many guys do you need to kill penalty killing? And it's also like, are you looking for size? Because if you're looking for size, Tage Thompson is like what, 6'5", 6'6"?
He's pretty huge. Yeah, I could definitely see.
Also, why do you need those guys for penalty killing? You have Jacob Slavin on your team. Hello.
Right. I would say if there's any guys you want to swap, I would say probably Tage over Kreider if you really have to swap a couple guys on there. Yeah, I could definitely see why the empty netter guys might be a little bit peeved on not having Caulfield and Tage on there, even with their somewhat struggling seasons. But their struggling seasons are a lot better than what Kreider and whoever else you mentioned.
Trocheck, Nelson.
I would say Trocheck, keep him on there. Nelson, oof, yeah. I would say Brock Nelson and Kreider you take off and you swap him with Tage and Caulfield. I think that I can agree with that. That's kind of that's an even swap.
It was just funny. Like I kind of understood what they were saying, but my bigger thing was like, why are you even worried about penalty killing if you have Jacob Slavin on your team? Anyway.
Right, exactly.
And also they were like, how many penalties do you think you're going to be killing? And I was like, well, you do have the Kachuk brothers on there, so I guess that makes sense.
Matthews takes a lot of penalties too, so I mean, yeah, I kind of like
Brady,
yeah. There's Austin Matthews and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a few guys on that roster that could probably take some PIMs. So I could see why, but I mean,
so yeah, but. So anyway, congratulations to Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, and Jacob Slavin. Way to represent the Carolina Hurricanes, but also represent their countries. Honestly, I'm going to be really excited to tune into. I'll probably tune into that more than I would the All-Star. So very excited about that in February. A little pre-Valentine's or during Valentine's. Yeah, watch it on Valentine's Day.
nothing says Happy Valentine's Day like watching four nations face off. If you love hockey, it makes sense.
Honestly, if your significant other knows you love hockey, it all makes sense.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Hey, just order some pizza, get some alcohol. We'll just sit in front of the TV and watch some hockey. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, if it works for you. Talking about representing your countries, we have to mention this real quick. Bradley Nadeau was selected for the Canada selective roster. Their final rosters aren't going to be done until the 13th of December. Which is actually over the next couple of days. So they're in Ottawa.
Ungersorm got called.
Ungersorm and Villette, they both made Team Sweden. There's no selective camp. They're automatically on the rosters. So they're good to go for that for the 26th of December through January 5th or 6th, I believe. That's also going to be in Ottawa for the World Juniors. But Team Canada does a small mini camp to finalize their roster before the World Juniors. So Nadeau, he's on the selective camp roster. He's not officially on the roster until they figure out. I think it was the 10th through the 13th is their mini camp of figuring out the final roster.
The unpaid intern was a little sad because we are going to go see the Wolves in the latter part of December. And as soon as they announce it, he goes, congrats to them. But who is going to be on the team when we go and watch them? So
yeah,
I'm going to Josiah Slavin apparently, so it's all right.
Yeah, you got Josiah Slavin, you still got.
Anyway, we can talk about this more, but we do have to cut to our sponsors for a quick moment. So check it out. Again, it's the time of the year that all these deals come in extra handy. So pay attention to all of our discount codes, and we'll be right back.
There's nothing quite like watching the Canes come back, win in person, just hitting up a game regardless. But with Gametime, it's not only limited to just athletic events. That's right. All events, concerts, shows, not just sports, you name it. And Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time scrolling through thousands of tickets. Upcoming Tuesday, the 17th, the Canes and Islanders super deal right now. Club, that's right, Club section 224, row B, all in pricing, $130 per ticket. That's quite a super deal if I've heard about one. It's very easy to maneuver. You get to view the seats before you buy. It's lowest price guarantee, even event cancellation protection, job loss protection, you name it. So Gametime Picks. Curation makes it even easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. You name it. All-in pricing, toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Get the seat views, panoramic view for your seat in the app before you buy, lowest price guarantee, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. The Gametime ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time.
The 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Our OG sponsor, Primo X Hockey. Whether it's apparel, bags, goalie gear, jerseys, you name it, Primo X. Yeah, even a couple of buckets for you. Primo X Hockey has it for you. They are located here in Raleigh, 1401 Diggs Drive, Suite E. Monday through Friday, they're open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Even have availability and times open on the weekend from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday and 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. So for local pickup, save 20% with code in-store pickup online. How about that deal? Also use code SurgeCast for 20% off your Sebastian Aho deals as well. So even skate sharpening, $5. How about that deal? Primo X Hockey. They have all the hockey gear to get you right for the season.
And we're back. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Again, I have utilized DraftKings. I've utilized Gametime. Zach's got stuff from Primo. So
yeah, flags,
about
koozies, yeah. Primo since day one. I don't know how many episodes are up to right now. They've been with us for all 4 seasons. Can't ask for a better group to be with us since the first day, and those guys are great. And they're based in Raleigh, and they're season ticket holders, so can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and I will also say, I know you probably just heard the Gametime app, but I will say if you use our discount code with THPN, you can get Hurricanes lower bowl tickets with fees for under $100, and on the side that can shoot twice. So
that's
if
not
you're
bad at
looking
all.
for
That's
things
not bad.
to do over again the holiday season or gifts for people, highly recommend.
There's some pretty good home games coming that you might have taken.
Yeah, let's talk about those. So we got the last 3 games of this homestand that seems to be taking forever, but also
they've really stretched it out, which like we said earlier, not a complaint.
2 days between games is kind of nice. But they're all people that we have now already seen. We've got Ottawa, Columbus, and the Islanders.
Yeah. Mixed bag of results. It's a mixed bag of results.
Okay, so if we're talking about,
if we start with Ottawa first.
Ottawa, last time we saw them was the 16th of November.
It was the 4-0 Spencer Martin shutout win. Great game. You kind of hope they run it back and do this. I wouldn't say to do the same thing again, but you hopefully get ready to win that one because you really need it, because that was the start of a 3-game winning streak between Ottawa, St. Louis, and then it was Philadelphia a couple of days later. So you just go into the game, and Pieter's back since I know he missed since they missed that weekend, but you get ready for it. And you have to get the one against Brind'Amour in the centers, because that game is always bonkers against those guys. It's always weird. So just be ready for it, because they're going to try to come and get under your skin, because that's what
100%.
Brind'Amour and those guys. Well, mainly Brind'Amour and those guys, but don't fall for their nonsense.
Yeah, so it's a game that if they play Carolina hockey like they did when they routed them 4-0, should be another similar result. If we're playing how we've been playing recently,
it's going to be a lot closer. A lot closer than it needs to be, and that's for sure. And then
we've got the Blue Jackets.
We have, like I said, with Ottawa though, the Sharks are one thing. Ottawa, they have some guys on that roster to watch out for. So. Yeah. But yes, we got Columbus. Last time we played them was the shootout game where we lost Pyotr Kochetkov to his concussion.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Another weird game where every time we play Columbus, it's always a weird one. And that was a weird one. where
So this one we can only go up if our goaltender doesn't get a concussion. Can only go
and you don't let them score a goal a minute or two after you score every single one of yours. So
yes, please. So that one will, again, it's another one where you play Carolina hockey, should be better.
These are 3 games where you should be getting 6 points, at worst 5.
Honestly, the Islanders and the Blue Jackets is the same thing. It's a tic-tac back and forth with goals, and it's
those games are always tough.
But it's also 2 teams that are lower in our division. That's like the Canes play down to them. It's
every
weird.
Every time. Yeah, like this should be a 3-game stretch where you should get 6 points. At the worst, should be 5. At the worst case scenario, 4 points. But you should be getting at least 5 at the worst. Should go for 6. Like I said, worst case scenario 4. Hey, you'll take a loss in those 3, but at least you won 2. You have to win at least 2. So you basically, after these 3 games to finish this homestand, you should be at least 20 wins on the season. Bare minimum 20 wins. Because you're at 18 right now. Get to 20. Get to 20 by the end of this homestand. That's all you can ask for right now.
Yeah.
And that's worst case scenario.
I really hope this is homestand. I would rather them get out of this slump or start to figure out while they're at home rather than when they have to travel, because traveling so much worse.
You're talking home cooking. You're in your own bed. You have some extra time. You can
figure out. You have the fans to back you up. Like,
right, exactly. Like you're in your routine of being at home. You're being in familiar confines. You know, it's the time where you can figure it out and be with family and just, kind of, okay, we're not playing great hockey, but let's, figure it out and de-stress at home and, get ready for what's next after this homestand. So you gotta take advantage of it.
This is a homestand where if you play Canes hockey and you don't let up, you should come out of this with 6 points. Well, I mean, if we're including the Sharks, technically 8, but for the
last three,
you should come out with 6. If we come out of this with 4, okay,
it's not the greatest, but it's still 4 out of 6.
Any of these teams can fight back, but if they get those points because the Canes aren't playing Canes hockey, don't play the full game. This is where you need to get the point. Like, yes, you're allowed to have slumps, but these are the teams that you need to get the points because it's going to get harder.
And that's why, like I said, if you don't get 6, you got to get 5. Sure, there might be an overtime loss against Columbus or Ottawa. I do not want to give up points to the Islanders. I just don't.
Honestly, we don't have to have an overtime loss if we don't go to shootout.
Like I said, my
shootout is our dang kryptonite.
Yeah, after that last one, the only one we've been in so far this season. Yeah, like I said, if at worst should be 5 points, but you should definitely get 6. If you get 4, maybe it was one of those games where you're playing your game and it just didn't work out. But like you said, if they just come out and play like they did against the Kraken, then getting the 4 points is like, okay, you got 4 points, but there's still some stuff to work on. So there's gonna be some context of, you got 4, but it was close, instead of you got 4, but oh my goodness, what was that? So
yep.
Like I said, at the worst 5, 4, you'll take it depending on context.
Yeah,
but like this should be a stretch where it should be 6, but
so. We will see, but honestly, that's all we have for this episode of the Surgecast. And a quick little recap, fun news about the boys joining their nations for the 4 Nations face-off, and we're going to see how they go. Again, guys, we might be in a little bit of a slump, but hey, every team goes through it. We just have to keep supporting them, show up, be loud.
I mean,
let's go Canes.
Yeah. Basically, let's go Canes, and remember, there was no expectations, and we're in a lot better spot than a lot of people thought we were going to be. So it's okay. breathe, step back from the ledge. We're going to be fine.
Step back from the ledge and go worry about other things like Christmas.
Yeah. Make sure to go to Primo and get those Christmas gifts, and make sure to go to get some Hurricanes gear, because you can never have too much Hurricane stuff. So,
All right, Zach, where can people find you and your many jobs?
It's not that many.
And where can they find the network?
So for the network, it's the hockeypodcastnetwork.com. You can check them over there. It's HockeyPodNet on the socials. They have a podcast for every hockey team. They even got Terry Ryan from Shores. He has his own show as well. So make sure you go check that out. Great group of guys to be with. Glad we're with this amazing network going on 2 seasons now. It's always been fun with these guys. So really glad to be with them. You can check me out at One True Zach on X. I'm also on Blue Sky at the Zachary Martin. I have link trees in my bios where you can find my articles over at the Hockey Writers. Been doing a lot of content recently because it's been very busy. You can check out my other podcasts, Locked On Hurricanes. You can check those all podcast platforms on YouTube. I've been rolling with that as well. So yeah, just go check out all my stuff over there, podcasting and writing. It's Canes, and more Canes content. Kat, where can people find you and this particular podcast, along with our other co-host who wasn't here because she has to work her job?
Yeah, you can find me on X and Blue Sky at Caniac Chick, same name, different place, similar vibes. And then on TikTok at KVT Hunter 74. Super easy, best number in hockey. And then if you want to find the Surgecast, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, all of the above, it's the Surgecast. Honestly, type in the Surgecast, you'll find it, and you'll find our link tree. If you have any questions on where else to find us, it'll all be there. Super easy. You can find it in all of our bios. You guys got this by now. I mean, again, season 4, episode 16. If you're a day 1 listener, hey, how are you? But go look at the Surgecast, like, follow, subscribe, all of those fun things. Comment, tell us your feedback on things. We love to hear it. And then, of course, if you are new here, you're also noticing we're missing our third co-host. But Bailey is Bailey Lynn Curtis on Instagram, and it's Bailey Curtis with 2 Y's on X. Yep. But yeah, she does this with us. She also is a writer for the Avalanche.
She's a beat writer for the Colorado Avalanche over at the Hockey News. So yes, while she does current Hurricane stuff over here, she does cover her other team as a writer. So
trust us, she was just as excited that the Canes won. Don't let that fool you.
Don't let her Twitter feed fool you any different.
She wouldn't say "Let's go Canes," but I could see it in her eyes.
we all know the truth, Bailey. Just come to the light. We all know. We all know the truth.
But yeah, we for the month of December, we are trying to stay as regular in your ears every week around Wednesday, Thursday. So stay tuned. Yep. Of course, when it gets around Christmas, we'll let you know if we're going to take a little bit of a break to be with family.
Yeah, because I know Christmas is on a Wednesday, so maybe we might switch for that week. But if not, we'll let you know if we're taking that week off, or if we do something sooner. So.
Our unpaid intern will keep us all on track. But
yes, the unpaid intern's did a very good job of keeping our. We're figuring out what days in the month is working perfect for us to always be on. So we're trying. We're trying, guys. We're busy. Just give us a chance.
But for this episode of the Surgecast, I'm Kat.
I'm Zach.
And we'll see you next time on the Surgecast.
Bye, guys.
Merry Christmas.